Can you still hear it if I mute myself?
Yes. I think the only thing that when you pause the music, look at probably do. Oh yeah.
All right, I think we can start letting people in. All right, I think we can start letting people in. Okay, Vin, why don't we go ahead and stop the screen share and I'll get us started. Okay, great. Let's see. We have everybody here. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being patient. We're just getting everyone set up. Thank you for joining us. We'll start in about a minute. We have Christina, Annie, Kelly, Kim Lee, Jessica. I think we are just missing. Okay, there she is. Do we have everybody? Okay, I have to count. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. Welcome everyone to the 5th annual Viet Story Slam. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tracy Nguyen Mang, and I'm the founder of Vietnamese Boat People, dialing in from Montclair, New Jersey. So thank you for joining us. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be. This evening, we are so excited to be able to host another Story Slam. I was just talking to the crew earlier that this Story Slam started in 2020 and it was supposed to be an in-person event. But because of the COVID pandemic, we had to make it virtual. And it was the best thing that happened for the program because now we get to host it every year with participants from across the nation and across the globe. And so it's an honor to be able to share these stories with everybody that has dialed in with us and that are going to be coming in throughout the evening. Tonight, we have a special person that I have invited to co-host this evening with us. If you've been following the Story Slam, every year we have a theme, and this year's theme is My Vietnam, Your Vietnam. And it was inspired by the author Christina Vo. So welcome, Christina.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I'm an author based in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and My Vietnam, Your Vietnam is a book that's co-written with my father. It's my second book, and I was just really honored when Tracy asked me if we could use the title of the book as inspiration for the Story Slam, because I think we all, have our different views and perspectives about Vietnam, and it's an honor to be here, and I'm honored that this is the title for the Story Slam.
Thank you so much, Christina. I forgot to mention earlier that tonight's event is being recorded. So it will air on the podcast at a later date, also the replay of the event. And if you have any family members that were not able to RSVP to the Zoom event, we are live streaming right now on our YouTube channel. So please go ahead and tell them to look for us on the YouTube channel and they can watch from there as well. We also want to just mention that if you are new to Vietnamese Boat People and you're joining our event for the very first time, welcome. We are going on our 5th year doing this, and it's been a really amazing journey. But this is one of a few other programs that we have. We are a nonprofit with the mission to not only preserve the stories of the Vietnamese diaspora community, but to elevate them. And we do that in programs such as a Story Slam, such as our podcast. We host storytelling events, journey mapping, and all sorts of different ways that we try to really bring our stories to the broader audience. But without further ado, what I'd like to do is welcome tonight's storytellers. So we're going to start off with letting them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Jessica Nguyen.
And I'm Jennifer Nguyen. We're calling in from Kansas City, Missouri, and our piece is called Our Vietnam.
Hi, I'm Kelly Prisbury. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and my story is called A Love Letter.
Hi, my name is Annie No. I'm calling in from Stillwater, Minnesota, and my poem is called Our Vietnam.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Tran, and I'm calling in from Hampton, Virginia. My title of the piece is called No Nomad, No Lotus, Connected by Our Roots.
Hi, I'm Annabelle King, or Annie King. I'm dialing in from Louisville, Kentucky, and my piece is called My Mother, Vietnam.
Hi, I'm KV Vu. I'm dialing in from Saigon, Vietnam, and my piece is called Third Culture Baby.
Great. And congratulations to all of our storytellers tonight. They were chosen from a global call for submissions, and there were many to choose from. And we're so excited that we have these 6 amazing stories. Actually, normally we do 5, but All six were so amazing. We decided to expand it this year. And this is only our second time where we've had siblings that submitted together. We had that happen one year. But so we're excited that Jessica and Jennifer worked together on theirs. And then just for any of you who have attended our Story Slams every year, you might recognize KV from 2020 Story Slam. So we're so excited to have her back with us. Those of you that are in the chat room, please tell us where you're dialing in from. One of the things that we love about this event is just seeing the diverse locations where everybody is calling in from. So with that, I'm going to let Christina talk a little bit more about the theme and the prompts that we have asked our storytellers in terms of the submission theme.
Yeah, so this year's theme, My Vietnam, Your Vietnam, actually was inspired when I listened to my father give a presentation about Vietnam. And it was called Two Vietnams. And in that moment, something struck me where I realized that there was my Vietnam, his Vietnam, our Vietnam. So this year's theme, My Vietnam, Your Vietnam, we asked the storytellers to share their unique connection with Vietnam, whether they were born there, departed early, or returned by choice. What does Vietnam mean to them? And how does it resonate within their family? They shared emotions with us and the common threads that many of us feel about Vietnam, the motherland. And we received submissions from all over the world. And just want to thank everyone who spent the time to craft and share their stories with us. Each of the six storytellers this evening will receive $300 cash, a VBP limited edition Story Slam tote, and gifts from our sponsors. And tonight, each storyteller will present their pieces, but please be sure to stick around to the very end because there will be an opportunity to vote for the People's Choice Award.
Great. Thank you, Christina. And I'm also noticing in the chat room, we have somebody who is dialing in from Belgium. We have Hawaii, we have Texas, Vancouver, Los Angeles, Michigan, Philadelphia. So it's just so exciting that we can all come together to celebrate our Viet stories, no matter where we're located. Christina had mentioned our sponsors, so I have to thank them because without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to repeat this program every year. And they truly have been so supportive of all the work that we do. And they're also the ones that are behind supporting the cash prizes for our storytellers this program. So Subtle Asian Baking is our premier sponsor. And we want to thank Kat Liu, the founder of the baking Instagram and now modern Asian cooking. And I think, Vin, you have to move some of your blocks on the screen share. But yeah, so she is a true supporter. And so all of our storytellers will get a copy of her latest book, Modern Asian Cooking. And we also have Keys to Teas, who is a Story Slam alum, entrepreneur of teas. And so she has been a supporter every year. We have Red Boat Fish Sauce. If you love fish sauce, you got to get Red Boat. We have Keep Up. We have Bo Me. We have Can Arts Network, which is a foundation on contemporary arts. And then we have Kahana Press. So I just really wanted to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors for supporting this event. And also our selection committee, who may or may not be able to join us throughout the evening. Christina Vo was part of our selection committee. We had about 5 people that are in the Vietnamese space telling our stories. And so it was very important for us every year to ask people to be a part of the committee to help review the submissions. And even though it's one of the hardest jobs as part of the Story Slam, they were able to select our top storytellers for tonight. In addition to Christina, we have Irene Donahoe, who is a screenwriter. If you've seen the Netflix movie, A Tourist Guide to Love, she was the screenwriter behind that, and she's done many other pieces of work. Kenneth Nguyen, the host of the Vietnamese podcast, as well as a founding partner of East Films, was on our selection committee. Kat Liu, our food blogger, who was also our premier sponsor for Subtle Asian Baking, and Tung Huynh, who is the founder of Viet 5 Coffee based in Chicago. They deliver all over nationwide if you want to subscribe to good coffee. And he's also a creative director. So thank you to them for taking the time to review all the submissions and selecting the top ones. Okay, so are we ready to start the stories? Oh, I think I just have one more mention actually with the raffle.
Raffles. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that we are giving away raffles at the end, and there's still time to donate and put your name in the mix. So this year, Vietnamese Boat People is participating in the hashtag Give in May campaign to celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month and uplift AAPI-focused nonprofits. So any donation over $20, we can still include you in the raffle. So please consider making an additional donation this evening and using our Give in May link in the chat room. So
Great.
please.
Thank you, Christina, for that reminder. Yes. So it's not too late to be a part of the raffle. We will have a cutoff point midway, but stick around to the very end and we will draw the winners. If you, by any chance, can't make it to the very end, we have your email address, so we'll notify you. But just real quick, the prizes are Quillhawk Publishing Book Lovers Baskets. So if you're planning some time this summer on the beach, you've got a beach towel, a sun hat, a basket, and some really great books published by the company and signed by the authors. We also are giving away a VBP swag kit. So it includes our tote, it includes the conversation kit, cards plus journal, and of course, a copy of My Vietnam, Your Vietnam, signed by Christina will be in that tote bag for you. Then if you, yep. Red Boat Fish Sauce is also donating their pantry faves. So all those great iconic items that you see in the picture is part of our raffle. The other one on the right is Modern Asian Cooking. I'm sorry, Modern Asian Kitchen and Modern Asian Baking at Home. 2 cookbooks plus a Viet Grit apron. So that's something to tote around and brag about. And then our last raffle for the evening is by Bo and Mea, which is a cultural box gift company. And so they're donating their Asian Pacific American Heritage Kit. And so this is the box that you'll get if you are a winner of this one. So please, there's still time to donate. We are a 501c3 organization and everything is 100% tax deductible. Okay, so now I think we really are ready to start the show. So here's how it's going to work. We are going to have each storyteller introduce themselves as well as the name of their piece. Then we are going to play their piece, and then they're going to come back on screen afterwards to talk a little bit about it. It'll go very quick, but it's really exciting to be able to let them introduce it. If we do have any technical hiccups along the way, please just be patient with us. It's bound to happen. We're on Zoom. But you know, it's going to happen, and just stay patient. Okay. All right. So first up is going to be Jessica and Jennifer.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica.
And Jennifer again. In our piece, Our Vietnam, we just wanted to work collaboratively on a project. And so we each kind of took a side. One person did more writing and one person did more of the media portion. And so we're excited for you to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's play the piece.
How easily we associate these words with a place thousands of miles away. For them, it's a land that they left to escape inevitable burdens. For us, a place of return. A transient change of pace from the chaos of our own lives. While distant in proximity and unfamiliar in many ways, we continue to reference this location as home. Similar to the amygdala that is deeply seated and stored within our nervous system, Vietnam serves as a processing center. It allows us to understand fears, emotions, and memories that are often difficult to communicate. It puts into perspective what we know about each other, like the stories of their childhood, tales about how the mountains nurtured them, how the red clay roads led to neighborhoods with earth-laden walls and straw-sealed roofs. All that has changed, but while we walk down the same paved roads, we see the outlines of their memories. We feel the warm breeze they described, take a moment to admire the playful leaves that close with the brush of a finger. Mimicking the past versions of them, we elicit memories that were inherently ours. Faces and scenes from their past become cemented in our present. Neighbors that have lived in the same lot for decades, vendors that sell the same after-school snacks, friends that have evolved yet managed to hold on to the same smile. These new yet familiar experiences become ours. And as we immerse ourselves in the land, people, and culture that equipped them, we are reminded of the complexity in their choice to leave. The desperation, heartbreak, and lingering hope for a place that was once home.
Mình đi về là tự vì có nhiều cái kỷ niệm, giống như là hồi xưa mẹ còn nhỏ mẹ ở đó, mẹ muốn đi về để thăm lại cái nhà cũ, thăm những người bạn, những người hàng xóm, rồi nó có một cái gì đó giống như một cái tuổi thơ của mẹ, một cái kỷ niệm để cho mẹ cứ muốn có cơ hội mẹ vẫn muốn đi về.
By returning, they share their experiences and memories with us, and a piece of their Vietnam becomes ours.
I loved it so much. I'm going to see if you guys can unmute yourself.
Yep.
I think we're unmuted.
Okay. I love hearing the voice of your mom. Just coming towards the end. It evokes so much feeling. And actually, it did for one of our selection committee members, Thung. So I just wanted to be able to share some notes that he put when he was reviewing your submission. This piece has rekindled a sense of home that we all feel once we visit Vietnam. Whether you are a first-time visitor or returning boat person who escaped the country, there is an indescribable feeling that Vietnam evokes in us. It's like an umbilical cord that always connects us to the familiarity and to the place where our hearts belong. And I think he just describes it perfectly. And of course, hearing your mom's voice, there's something about the voice of a mother speaking in Vietnamese, whether or not it's your own, I think you feel connected to it. I wanted to ask you whether or not you've been back to Vietnam with your parents, because I'm assuming some of that footage was from your trip. And okay, great. Can you talk about sort of what that experience was like and when did you go back with them?
We've been back like a handful of times, 4 or 5 years in between each time that we've gone back, and we've always gone back with our parents. I'm sure one day we'll eventually make the trip on our own, but our experience has been with our parents. And so I feel like each trip, each opportunity that we have to go back with them, we learn something new about them and ourselves. And that's really what we wanted to focus on with this piece. But it really does help us understand them a little bit better, understand the stories that they tell us about their youth a little bit better. Yeah.
Oh. Is mom watching tonight?
I think so. if she managed to make it on, I hope so.
Hi, Mom. I hope you're proud. The piece is beautiful. You guys did an amazing job. And thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Christina, who's going to introduce our next story.
So our next story is by Kelly. So do you want to, is Kelly up?
Yeah, let's find, oh, there she is.
Yeah. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. My name is Kelly Prisbrey. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, and my story is called A Love Letter. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see this, and I hope you all enjoy. And also a lot of the footage in this is actually from a family member. I've never been to Vietnam, but yeah. And also a fun fact is the archway in the video, you'll see it, is actually and my great grandpa was the architect for this archway in the village that my family's from. So anyway, be on the lookout for it.
Life. You are the love of my life. But you don't know I exist. We have never met, but you're in everything I do. We have a long history, one that began before I was born. Although you were left behind, you are here with me. I long to meet you someday, so I can tell you what you mean to me. To thank you for everything you've given me. You are everything to me. I still see you every day. In the food I eat, and in the people I love most. You are the reason I'm alive. I may not look like I belong with you. My name isn't one you'd recognize. But believe me, we are connected. You are a hidden part of me. Your name will always be on my lips, and I count the days until I see your face. Until then, I'll leave you with this. Vietnam, you are the love of my life.
Thank you. It's so beautiful, Kelly.
Thank you.
So, well, first, I just want to share a comment from Kenneth, who was the host of the Vietnamese podcast, and something that he wrote after he read or you watched your video, your submission. So Kenneth said, "This entry made me cry. So moving. She gives an account from an angle we hardly talk about, being half Vietnamese. This clip makes me want to know more about her." So thank you so much. I actually, interestingly, the first piece I ever wrote about Vietnam, it was called A Love Affair. So that I have, I feel kind of a connection, understanding to that. But I wanted to ask you, so in this piece, you start off by saying, to Vietnam that you are the love of my life, and yet we've never met. So it's clear that you have, deep physical connection, even though you haven't been there. Do you have any plans on going to Vietnam in the near future?
Yes, I actually have a trip planned next year, so I'm finally gonna go. I've been waiting literally my whole life to go. So yeah, I've been wanting to go forever. So
Are you going alone?
no, I'm gonna go with my aunt and uncle. So they have a trip and I'm tagging along.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your piece. And it'll be interesting to hear your impressions when you come back and what you might be inspired to do or write based on that connection.
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you so
excited.
much.
I'll probably write more.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
All of these footage of Vietnam, it's making me want to go back and visit. I haven't been in a long time. So next we have Annie Ngo, and she's going to introduce us to herself a little bit and her piece.
Hi, I'm Annie No. Like I said, I'm calling in from Stillwater, Minnesota. I lost my mom to breast cancer at the end of 2020. And since then, I've been kind of just trying to get back to my roots and just kind of, I don't know, share a piece of her, share a piece of myself with my kids and just kind of pass on something. So, this poem that I wrote, it's called Our Vietnam. It's for her. Hi, my name is Annie No, and my poem is called Our Vietnam. Mẹ ơi, my Vietnam, is not the same as your Vietnam. My Vietnam is eating a steaming hot bowl of pho at a small pink table next to an even smaller red chair on the side of an alley buzzing with mopeds speeding by. It's the blazing sun rays that kiss my sweat-drenched golden tan skin while I slurp up the rich, aromatic broth and take in a place where everyone looks just like me. Your Vietnam is a home you no longer recognize, forever altered by the broken shards, scattered and abandoned from a war that forced you to grow up way too quick. It's tearful goodbyes to your brothers and lingering hugs to your sisters as you leave it all behind and move to an unfamiliar country in search of a better life. My Vietnam is cheerful greetings to aunties and uncles I mostly heard stories of and would speak to briefly on the phone in my broken Vietnamese. It's seeing my littlest cousins find joy in something as simple as bathing in the rain. Their giggles, vibrantly contagious, echoing through the monsoon that cascades from the sky. Your Vietnam is a distant memory, a place you visit that's changed so much and doesn't quite feel right, so you stop calling it home. The scars have healed, and the panic comes less and less. The unspoken trauma, now a fading feeling that you abruptly smother and bury, somewhere deep in the darkest corner of your soul, so that you can continue to do what you know best: survive. Even though this is the place that connects our hearts to one another, mẹ ơi, your Vietnam will never be the same as my Vietnam.
Annie, thank you so much for sharing that beautiful poem. Before I dive right in, I just want to share a comment from Irene on our selection committee. She wrote that she really loved this piece because it acknowledges not only the difference between your Vietnam and your mother's Vietnam, but that the description of your mother's experience sounds something that so many of us share, and that she did what she did best, which was to just survive. And that really hit home for Irene because that's exactly what she felt her mom did as well, was just to survive, and that her mom takes all the hardship that she faces and just keeps on going. And so I think so many of us resonate. And I love the fact that we have so many stories about our moms because they are incredible people. And I'm so sorry to hear that you lost yours recently. In your submission, you had written that losing your mom was losing your biggest connection to Vietnam. And it made you realize how important it was to share our beautiful culture with your children. I can imagine that it must have been so hard to write this piece. So can you share with us a little bit of the creative process?
Yeah. I think I spent so much time hearing her tell me that you'll never understand what it's like till you have kids. Till you have kids of your own, you'll never understand. And she used to quote this song, lòng mẹ, bao la như biển, Thái Bình. And that has just resonated with me so much, just becoming a parent myself and just kind of understanding that love that you give to your kids. And so this process was, it was hard. I cried a lot, but at the same time, I feel like I've connected with her in a way that I didn't really get to do when she was here. So it was still great for me and very healing.
It's a beautiful piece, and I think you did an amazing job honoring her with the piece. And I know there's a lot of people in the audience that said they've also lost a parent, and Christina actually one of them. So writing is a huge source of healing and really reconciling it with some of the emotions. So thank you so much for sharing it with us on the Story Slam.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you. We're going to go to our next storyteller. And actually, before we do that, I think we do have a last call for donations. Han just reminded me. So if you want to make a quick donation, please do so. We'll be closing the raffle soon. So thank you so much for your support. I'm going to hand it over to Christina and our next storyteller.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's really touching the evening and how, our parents really, the loss of them, the presence of them, the connection to Vietnam, it's so beautiful. So I'm going to now hand it over to Kimberly, who's going to introduce her piece and tell us a little bit more about herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kimberly Tran. I'm super grateful to be here today. One thing about me is I will cry. So everyone's stories were so touching and beautiful. And so I'm just so touched by it all. My piece, I am currently calling in from Virginia, but I am also from a multitude of places, born in New York, Canadian roots as well, but also grew up in OC. But yeah, so my piece is inspired from being from a multitude of places as well. The title is called No Mud, No Lotus, Connected by Our Roots. There is a part in the video, I'm just wondering if anyone will catch it towards, I won't say actually where, but it is in a certain place. And so I'll say more after, but there's a place and I wanted to see if anyone would catch that.
Okay, great. So let's start the piece.
Vietnam is Bến Tre, Tiền Giang, Thái Sơn, Công Ốc, Ba Tri, Mỹ Tho. These towns etched in my memories of visiting Vietnam in the summers growing up, hearing echoes of Con Cô Úc and Việt Kiều. Vietnam is a silk pillowcases sewn for my sisters and I by my Bà Ngoại, carrying whispers of love and longing across oceans. It's the fruits my parents slice, a taste of home, a familiar spice. Vietnam is through the camera lens of my dad when he visits home. It's the story my parents tell through my dad's lectures, my mom's cooking, and the tales shared by relatives like Iba and Uncle Lee. Vietnam is a place of knowing and not knowing. It is everything and nothing at the same time. A place of war and yet of home. Words of warmth and tender touch are rare, and cooking becomes a love language beyond compare. Vietnam is the coconut trees my mom climbed growing up, reaching for the sky with each climb. It is the holistic care my parents provide, like applying ginger to heal wounds, a remedy passed down from my herbalist on why. Vietnam is my Ba Noi's commanding nature and her resilience in raising 5 sons on Tai Song Island. My dad, the youngest of 5, and my mom, the youngest of 10, both from the Mekong Delta, bound by lost roots and cultural longing. I recall my Ba Noi's passing, Dad's unspoken wish to honor her name, yet consumed by America's relentless game. In his silence, I felt his heart's quiet plea to bridge the gap between two worlds, between the life he built and the one left behind, a legacy lost, a tribute he yearned to find. In America, I smell the aroma of my mom's cooking, mingled with the sweet scent of incense with the sight of green plants in our home. In Vietnam, I hear the noisy motorcycles and see greenery in the countryside. In both worlds, the fragrance of incense lingers, accompanied by the familiar sounds of laughter, shouting in Vietnam English, and crashing ocean waves. It tastes like bánh xèo, bún riêu, nước tương on toast and fried eggs, nước mắm in spaghetti. This in-between place brings mixed emotions filled with nostalgia, deep emotion, and rooted feelings embraced by sniff kisses. Through it all, I've realized my parents have always found ways to connect to our roots of Vietnam, nestling us in Orange County's Little Saigong's view, yet the reasons we had to depart, to seek a life with a different start, it's clear now their sacrifices made for opportunities they sought and bade. Just like Vietnam's national flower, the lotus, Thich Nhat Hanh's wisdom of no mud, no lotus means to embrace the mud, for the beauty through the hardships will shine through the blossoming of the lotus. Vietnam is missing home, oceans apart, tears of joy, tears of heart.
Sorry. Okay, now just waiting again. Thank you, Kimberly. I love the reference to the no mud, no lotus, and to the lotus. My father's first book was actually called The Pink Lotus. So I love the symbolism of the lotus for Vietnam and Vietnamese people. But first, I just wanted to start with a comment from Irene about your piece. So she says this captures the duality and complexity of the Vietnamese experience and the Vietnamese American experience. The idea of building bridges between what was lost and what was found, the mixing of cultures, the nook mum and spaghetti. And I love the way she uses the image of the mud and the lotus to amplify the idea that the beauty of hardships will shine through and that you have to embrace the mud in order to appreciate the beauty. So thank you so much. And I just have, a question for you, because you mentioned in your submission that you most recently left your corporate job to go embark on a journey of healing, health, wellness, and personal and professional development. So what has healing meant for you when it comes to your family's complicated diasporic journey?
I think in terms of healing for my family, it starts with me. So actually doing things that bring me joy, not being so fixated on necessarily healing my family, but it starts with you.
Yes.
And clearly to Thich Nhat Hanh, he is a Vietnamese. He passed away 2 years ago, but a lot of his work I really do resonate with, and my family is also Buddhist. I grew up Buddhist. And I just felt, I've been feeling very compelled to just heal through compassion as well, right? And self-love. And so that's the main thing that I've been working on, and hoping that that would transcend to also healing our communities and our families.
No, I love that. And I completely agree. I think a lot of times people are so focused on the external that they don't realize that everything actually, that healing, that peace, that reconciliation really begins within ourselves. So I think it's so beautiful that you want to do that work. Did you want to mention something in the video?
So at the end of the video, I don't know if anyone caught this, but there's a specific, I don't know if anyone grew up my sister should be on this call, and my mom, but we grew up in OC, so Little Saigon, California, and I just threw in a snippet of a video of like a Vietnamese grocery store, but I have no idea if anyone even caught that. It was towards the end.
Well, we'll have to ask the audience to put it in chat if you recognize that.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a yes.
My sister.
Oh, that's your sister.
So thank you so much. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Tracy.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I was just looking at, we have 76 participants in the Zoom meeting. That's so amazing. I'm so just so honored that everybody is taking their time out of their evening or their morning and they're joining us. So I can't believe time is just flying by. We are already on our 5th storyteller, and our next one is Annabelle King. She goes by Annie. So I'm going to let Annie introduce herself in the piece.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, my name is Annabelle King, but my friends call me Annie. I was born in a small commune by Vinh, Vietnam, and I was adopted at 10 months old by 2 white American parents. And so my piece is titled My Mother Vietnam, which kind of explores my relationship to the motherland through my adoption.
Great. Thanks, Annie.
In the beginning, there was nothing. But then there was a birth certificate, abandonment statement, and then adoption papers. It only took a few government officials to turn me from Hien into Annabelle. When you're a child, you don't dwell in the before, because you have not lived long enough to have known such a place. But with what you don't know, you create with your imagination. And so, Vietnam became my fantasy outside my reality, the US. My parents would tell me about their journey there, and I would use their words to paint a blurry image of home for myself. Vietnam was beautiful, and so I pictured tall green mountains, the cliffs wet with rice water as they peeked out from the base to pierce the burning sky. Vietnam was busy, and so I pictured loud streets full of faceless people moving to and fro on bikes that needed no direction to find their destination. And Vietnam was broken. I did not need to picture anything to know that the cost of my country's pain was priced exactly the same amount as my adoption. Inevitably, the thing I would dream about the most would be my birth mother, to which my parents have no description. But though I know less about her than I do my homeland, I still find myself thinking that they are one and the same. That woman, in all her beauty and brokenness, lives beyond anything I could ever hope to reach for. For you see, to be transracially and internationally adopted means more than existing between countries and cultures. It means you exist between time and space, the dimensions of what if. It is to look around and realize you live within a ghost kingdom, a place built on shoulds, coulds, wants, and nots. This is where I would imagine Vietnam holding me tenderly in her hands. She would give me all that a mother was to give her child: safety, familiarity, unconditional love. No matter how far I may be, she would always patiently wait before embracing me fully upon my return. But just like any other parent, Vietnam can be a cruel teacher. In those early days when I was Hien, she taught me 3 things: starvation, neglect, and that you can wail and cry for someone, but that won't bring them back. Vietnam left a hole in me that only a mother can make, and I, her daughter, will bleed for 1,000 lifetimes because of it. Not all women want to be loved like mothers, but all daughters want to be loved by their mothers. So if I want to love Vietnam, then I must shed tears. But does she want to do the same for me? It's my first time being away from Vietnam, but it's also her first time being away from me. There is a place in my motherland where I'm supposed to be, and no amount of rainfall can fill it. Though I have long since forgotten this place, my beginning and the nothingness, I can feel her whispering for me to remember her. Not as beautiful, busy, or broken, but to remember her simply as my mother, Vietnam.
Annie, thank you so much for sharing that piece. There's a comment. Amy said, I can hear the longing in your piece, and she's sending hugs. I think, before I even go into sort of all the emotions that it's evoked in me, I do want to share a comment from Thung from Viet 5. When he saw your piece, he wrote, Vietnam is a beautiful country, but it is also a place of sadness and pain. For adoptees, being adopted can already come with a negative stigma. This is compounded when adoption is tied to one's ethnicity. I could sense her frustration and anguish, even though she expressed a sense of pride in her country of origin. For VBP, we've actually shared some adoptee stories in our podcast and some of our programs, but I always feel like there's so many more stories and experiences that have been unshared and not been uncovered. And so when your submission came in, I think it really caught attention of a lot of people on the selection committee. And also it was so beautifully written because it evoked so many emotions for me. Like at first I was sad, and then I was kind of like angry, and then I empathized in some ways to you and your mother. So it was just one of those pieces that I think emotionally, if you were trying to create a lot of confused emotions for the listener, it was very effective. So I wanted to ask you, how long have you been on the journey of just thinking about your origin and how that, when was the first time you sort of started confronting it, or has it been an ongoing process?
Of course. Well, thank you for asking, and thank you for holding the space for me to talk about this and to submit my story. I've always been really fascinated in trying to get in touch with my heritage. Like, there are photos of me when I was like 4 years old. My mom and dad brought back things from Vietnam, and I just loved them. I just loved whatever they brought back from Vietnam. They put it all in this box, and I just opened that box all the time just to feel things that came from a place where I was supposed to be. But as I got older, it started becoming more of a struggle because people, especially where I'm from, Louisville, Kentucky, especially the area I was in, specifically in the city, there were not a lot of Vietnamese people. So I would tell people, oh, I'm from Vietnam. And a lot of people would be like, where's that? They would associate it immediately with the war or something like that. And when you don't have the language to describe where you're from because you don't see it everywhere, you don't have parents that connect you to it, it's sort of hard to explain. So it kind of fell off my radar for a little bit until I got into college. And that's where I learned we had a Vietnamese Student Association. There are lots of other Vietnamese kids my age that were willing to kind of walk me through some of those things. But even then, being in those spaces, it has been kind of difficult. But it is something that not just Vietnamese adoptees, but all sorts of adoptees, international, domestic, transracial, all have to walk through with those emotions.
Well, I really appreciate that you were willing to share it on the program, because again, I think it's just an experience that we don't share enough in, the different programs when we do talk about the Vietnamese American experience. And so, and I know it's not something that is easy to share on a public platform. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, well, I can't believe we're on our final storyteller for the evening. We're going to bring in Christina to introduce our last story, but of course not our least. So go ahead, Christina, I'll hand it to you.
Yeah, the evening went by so fast. The time. I'm surprised. But I also wanted to acknowledge that this is, I think, the first time the Vietnamese people that it's been all female storytellers and the finalists. So I think that that's quite special to me, at least. So I would like to introduce KV Vu, who's visiting us from Saigon. So if you want to share more about yourself and your piece, that would be wonderful.
Hey y'all, my name is Kavi, and yeah, I'm dialing in from Saigon, Vietnam. I grew up in the States, but I guess I really, really wanted to connect with my roots and moved back to Vietnam 7 months ago. And ever since then, I had just started feeling a sense of belonging in the States, and then to come here and feel a lot of disruption there because there was so much yearning for Vietnam. And then getting here, I was like, oh, I don't belong here. So I think my piece is reckoning with that and maybe reclaiming that a little bit.
Thank you. Go.
Hey, third culture baby, I see you juggle these faces on a daily basis. I see you struggle with belonging in all these crazy places. I see you 'cause I do that too. I see your lotus tattoo and the one with the dragon dedicated to your dad who doesn't like that you have it. When people ask about it, it depends on who's asking. Kind of like your last name. You know it's not that common. You spell it so slow so there's no problems in the system. They said they can't pronounce it. Can you give them some tips? And then you meet a native speaker and they say it all different. With the diacritics, now you feel illiterate, become your worst critic, reminded that you don't fit in. Every line in my diary, it's always this Venn diagram. These sides I'm supposed to be, but never where I am. But lately I've been contemplating why I'm hesitating, so someone else can say when, like I'm waiting for permission to own my own existence. I guess I'm here to tell you I like all your intersections, despite the interactions when they said you weren't actually a real Vietnamese or real Korean or another identity because you didn't know a certain idiom or a food or a movie, so you stuck out like a sore thumb. Don't know that childhood game, so you were made to feel unwelcomed. I see you when I see it because I remember how it felt, and not that I think you need it, but just in case it helps. Your own sense of belonging cannot come from anyone else. While I give you full permission, I hope you'll give it to yourself.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that it brings up a lot of me. I moved to Vietnam too in my 20s, and I remember people. I worked there, and I remember Vietnamese people making fun of me, trying to learn the language. And yeah, there are a lot of there's a lot to adjust to. But I love how you bring up belonging and identity, and I think we can all find a way to belong. It's just it's a beautiful search, I think. So thank you. And I just want to share a comment from Kat, who said, I love that it seemed like she was speaking directly to me, a third culture baby. Her visuals, audio, pacing, everything was very pleasing. I love what she wore. And wow, she's in Saigon now. I feel she's talking to herself too and giving herself permission to belong. And yes, I feel that as well in the intersections. And I think we can belong to many places, and sometimes people forget that we can belong to multiple countries, even multiple cities. I think, people think we have to just be in one place and that makes us stable, but I don't think it's the essence of how humans are. But I just wanted to end with one question about, why, well, you sort of mentioned why you moved, but how has it been so far? What have been some of your biggest realizations since moving there?
Oh man, you hit me with the hard one. I think maybe my inspiration for writing it is, when I think I was like, I'm coming home, and then when I came home to Vietnam, I was like, oh yeah, everywhere you go, you're kind of being reminded how not home you are, and how different you are, and how, like, even your mannerisms before I even spoke the language, people are like, oh yeah, she's not from here. And that was just really shocking, because, your whole life, like many of these other storytellers, I was like, that's home, that's home base. That's where I'm gonna eventually be and belong. And I think just being here and learning everything that I've learned so far is just unlocking like these like characters, these like hidden characteristics of my mom that like just all make sense now. That I'm like, that's why she's like that. But yeah, it's also it was just a reminder, like, if you're thinking about Vietnam, you belong to Vietnam, and I think everyone here is. So just another reminder that we are Vietnam.
Yes, and in a recent, as somebody said something to me recently, and he just said, because of the title of my book, and he said, it's not my Vietnam or your Vietnam, it's our Vietnam. And I just love that and our Vietnam is whatever we create from that, whether it's from, I think, from our memories, from our parents, and I had similar experiences. And I have to say, my moving to Vietnam in my 20s, I'm now in my 40s, was the best experience of my life. And it's where I felt I became an adult. And so I hope you treasure those times there and keep creating from it. So thank you so much. I think she froze. Did you freeze? Oh, now you're back.
Sorry,
you.
that's my Vietnam internet.
Thank you so much, though, for that beautiful piece. I'm going to hand it back to Tracy now.
Great, thank you. Well, let's put all of our stories back on Spotlight, our storytellers. Oh my gosh, the time has just flown by, and we're glad you're back, KV. That Saigon Wi-Fi took you out for a second. But well, what we're going to do now is we're going to draw the raffles while you get an opportunity to vote for your favorite story for the evening. So in the chat, we're going to post the Google form. You'll be able to vote once. And I just want to name all of our storytellers and their pieces because all 6 of them were just so amazing and so heartfelt and evokes so many different types of emotions. I think every story was so unique in its own way. So please vote for your favorite tonight. We have Jessica and Jennifer Nguyen, who presented our Vietnam piece with their mom's very lovely and touching voice. We have Kelly, who did a love letter to Vietnam, which showed the 2 sides of being Vietnamese and American. We have Annie Ngo, who did Our Vietnam, was a poem in honor of her mother. We have Kim Aline, who presented No Mud, No Lotus. And it was a story about the difference in Vietnam and her parents' journey, as well as her own reflection. And we have Annabelle King, Annie King, My Mother, Vietnam, talks about her experience and her feelings as a Vietnamese adoptee. And of course, we ended with KV on Third Culture Baby, which I think that Christina is right. You can be in any country and feel like you're out of place, but you have to remember that you can belong in any country and in multiple places. And so I love that everybody shared such a unique and different story. So we're going to give you a couple minutes to vote. And while we do that, Han is going to share the raffle wheel. We have this really cool raffle wheel. So we put everyone's names in that donated $20 or more this evening. So thank you so much for putting in the donation. We really appreciate everyone's support on our programs. I don't know, Han, if you're able to share the donation wheel. Okay, so we're going to raffle off first prize, which is the Bolme AAPI Heritage Kit. And so the winner is that's so suspenseful. We have Kim Ba. Congratulations. These numbers are your ticket holder confirmation numbers, not phone numbers, by the way. So congratulations, Kim. Please reach out to us and provide a shipping address. So we'll move on to the second prize. The second prize, I believe, is the apron, the Viet Grit apron, and the 2 Asian cookbooks given to us by Subtle Asian Bacon. And whoever wins this has to send me some treats that they make. It looks like Jokvu. Congratulations. So please send us your shipping address when you get a moment. You can email us at stories@vietnameseboatpeople.org. And so the next gift we have to raffle off is the Vietnamese tote bag with the conversation kit. So that's a cards and journal with a signed autograph book of My Vietnam, Your Vietnam. Congratulations, Jennifer. Okay, I wish there was sound on the confetti that's being splashed on the wheel.
Hear the sound.
And then we have the red boat fish sauce next. So that is the cultural box. Han, if you can spin the wheel to see who won all these iconic products that will go very well with your fish sauce. And that was donated by Red Boat Fish Sauce. And congratulations to Mara. Hope you do a lot of great cooking with those ingredients. And then our fifth product donation was from Quillhawk Publishing. So for all of you guys that are planning your summer vacation, we're going to spin the wheel and you get to take with you a sun hat, a beach towel, a picnic basket, and 6 really good books autographed by the authors themselves. Selena, congratulations. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy your prizes. Thank you to everybody for the donation. We are so appreciative. And so last but not least, I'm actually going to put all of our storytellers off of mute in case anybody wants to give speech. You're more than welcome to. But I think we're going to go ahead and say last votes must go in right now. And so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at all the votes we have. And the winner is A Love Letter by Kelly Crispy. Kelly, do you want to say anything?
Oh, just thank you so much. I'm so honored and this has been awesome. Like I wasn't even going to enter this. Like I've been a fan of this podcast for a long time and every year this happens and I'm like, oh, that's so cool that people can do that. And then I just kind of, was encouraged by a friend to do it this time and I'm just really glad I did it. It's been an amazing experience sharing this all with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And congratulations, Kelly, who's going to receive some extra cash in her bag. But everybody tonight, all 6 storytellers are going to receive cash prizes. But also just thank you so much. Congratulations, guys. I mean, we got a ton of submissions and keep sharing your story. If it's not through our programs, share them on other programs, share them on your social platforms if you're comfortable. I hope that you'll remain part of the VBP family even after tonight. You'll always be a part of us. And so we hope to see you again very soon. Congratulations. And congratulations to everybody in the audience that won raffles tonight. And thank you everyone for joining us. Oh my God, I think it was a really good number, 76 people. That's amazing. So thank you so much. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we hope to see you guys at the next BBP event. Take care. Bye. I'm going to put Christina back on Spotlight so we can take a group photo because we forgot to take a group photo earlier. Are we missing one? Oh yeah, we're missing. Okay, there we go. All right. Say cheese. Okay, great. Thank you guys. Have a good night. This will be on replay on the podcast and on YouTube. It's there now in our playlist. So share it with anybody that you'd like. And then all of the stories that were featured tonight will be on our website. It'll be labeled 2024 Storytellers. And, we hope that you guys will take the opportunity to view them again and share them with your friends and family. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ooh, it looks amazing.
I know, I just wanted to show you Saigon in the morning.
I love it. Oh my gosh. And you just need the music in the background. Saigon.
I know, right?
Saigon.
I just need Hello Vietnam in the back.